Hello friends, welcome to Daily Dose of Vocab by Study Break. Today we are going to discuss the root dict, dica or dic, which is a Latin root meaning say, to speak or to talk. So remember dict, dica, dic, and there are other forms also, all of which mean to speak. Now, the first set of words that we are going to study today, benediction and malediction. Bene, which means well, and dic, like we said, which means say. So, benediction is say something well, so which means the utterance of a blessing, especially at the end of a religious service. That is, especially in Roman Catholic Church, a service in which the congregation is blessed with sacrament. Like you may have heard of benedicting the masses and all these things. So that benediction comes from there. An example sentence would be, she went with Maureen to benediction. Malediction comes from the root mal or male, which means evil, and of course, dic or dica is to say, a magical word or phrase uttered with the intention of bringing about evil. So, a curse or some kind of, say, secret, say, utterances which bring evil upon somebody. Example would be, he muttered malediction to himself as he trod the stone passages. Now, do you know who this person is? This is Pope Benedict the 16th. Okay, Benedicts are those popes who are trained to do benediction. Next set of words, diction, dictionary, and dictate, all of which come from dict. Diction comes from the root dict or dict, which means to say. The choice and use of words and phrases in speech or writing is diction, so your diction is excellent. The style of enunciation in speaking or singing is also known as diction. The collection of words used in a particular diction is called dictionary. It's a manual or book of words, a book or electronic resource that lists the words of a particular language. So that's dictionary. Probably all of you have used dictionaries. Dictate also comes from this basic root diction, which in turn comes from dict. Dictate is to say or read aloud, especially words to be typed, written down, or recorded. Okay, so from there comes dictate. We know these words. Dictate has another meaning. Dictate also means to state or order authoritatively. Don't try to dictate me, is what we say. An order or principle that must be obeyed, or control something decisively, or determine something fully is also to dictate. Now, the next set of words that we are going to learn come from this meaning of dictate, okay, not the previous one. So those words are dictator, dictat, and dictum. Now, dictator is a ruler with total power over a country. State or order authoritatively comes from there. Typically one who has obtained control by force. A person who behaves in an autocratic way nowadays is also called a dictator. Don't be a dictator. Dictat it comes from the past participle form of dict in Latin. It is with K, not with C. So dictat is an order or decree imposed by someone in power without popular consent. So it's the king's diktat, means we don't really want to obey that, but we have to. So that's a diktat. Dictum is again the neuter past participle of dica, a formal pronouncement from an authoritative source. So a dictum from the PMO. A short sentence that expresses a general truth or principle is also known as a dictum. An adage is also a dictum. But the basic meaning of dictum is an authoritative command coming from a place of power. So that's dictum. These are your dictators. So you probably know all of them. You have heard of them, read about them: Hitler and Stalin and Idi Amin and Pol Pot and Gaddafi. So these are your dictators. The next set of words are easy, all of which come from dict again. So contradict, predict, verdict, and addicted. Now, contradict, contra means against, and dica is speak. So contradict is to speak against someone, be in conflict with someone, or deny the truth by asserting the opposite of what is being said. So that is contradict. Predict comes from pre, which means before, and dict, which means speak. So predict is to speak from beforehand about the future, say or estimate that a specified thing will happen in the future or will be a consequence of something. So he can predict the weather very accurately. Verdict comes from the root ver plus dict. So ver means true, Like very comes from here, verity comes from here, veritable comes from there. A discussion on an issue of fact in a civil or criminal case or an inquest, an opinion or judgment is also called a verdict. Addicted. Addicted comes from add plus dict. So add is to, dict is to speak. So speak towards something or get dependent on something, basically. Physically and mentally dependent on a particular substance. Informally, we also say enthusiastically devoted to a particular thing or activity. Like he is addicted to reading or he's addicted to playing cricket. We can say in that way informally, but it's like speak about that thing all the time. So that is addicted. A back formation of addicted is addict, like a drug addict comes from there. The next two words that we are going to learn are vindictive and vindicate. Vindictive comes from the root vin, which means revenge, and dica, which means speak. So vindictive is somebody who always speaks of revenge, having or showing a strong or unreasoning desire for revenge. The criticism was both vindictive and personalized. Okay, so that's vindictive. The next formation of vindictive is vindicate, comes from the root vindica, similar root, which means already avenged. Now you can go. Already avenged. I have had my say. I have had my revenge. You can go now. So vindicate is to clear or blame, clear from blame or suspicion. Okay, or to show or prove right, reasonable, or justified. Like the work of Michael Faraday was vindicated mathematically by James Clerk Maxwell. Okay, a variant of win is venge. So ven and venge. So from venge comes all these words which generally is related or are related to revenge. So revenge, avenge, avengers, vengeful, vengeance, all of these come from the variant of win, which is venge. The next set of words, indict, edict, interdict, and jurisdiction. Okay, indict is in plus dica, so towards, speak or speak towards. Indict is to formally accuse or charge with a crime. Like you may have heard of the indictment from the court. Okay, indictment means you are charged of this, you have to appear in the court. His former manager was indicted for fraud. Edict is x plus dica. X means out, dica means speak. So edict is an official order or proclamation issued by a person in authority, similar to indict, but indictments are generally accusing someone of crime, okay, or charging someone, but edicts are generally any kind of order. Clovis issued an edict protecting church property. Interdict. Inter is between, dica is speak. So interdict is to prohibit or forbid something, especially by intervening. So an authoritative prohibition. I have not been interdicted from consuming alcoholic beverages, so I have not been prohibited. Interdict also means intercept and prevent the movement of, especially a prohibited thing or a person. So army efforts to interdict enemy supply shipment. Jurisdiction, you may have heard of this word, J-U-R, jur or J-U-S, just, justice comes from there, means law, and dica is to speak. So jurisdiction is the area or the law where we can speak, the official power to make legal decisions and judgments, the extent of the power, like till where is my jurisdiction, a system of law, courts, a judicature, the territory or sphere of activity over which the legal authority of a court or other institution extends. For example, often you'll hear the police say that this is not my jurisdiction, or this incident doesn't fall under the jurisdiction of Shialda court. So that is jurisdiction. Jurisdiction also is the official power. Okay, it's my jurisdiction means I have the power to take those decisions. The next two words are indicate and abdicate. Indicate is an easy word. In means towards and dica is to speak. Indicate is to speak towards or point out or show something. Okay, or indicate also means to be a sign of something, like this indicates it's going to rain. So strongly suggest or mention indirectly or briefly also means indicate. Easy. Abdicate comes from ab, which means away, and dica, which means speak. So abdicate is to speak away, that is renounce one's throne or like something of value. For example, in 1918, Kaiser Wilhelm abdicated as German emperor, that is he left it by will. Abdicate also means to fail or to fail to fulfill or undertake a responsibility or duty. The government was accused of abdicating its responsibility, that is, failing to fulfill its responsibility. So that also is abdicate. Now you must understand the difference between these words. This is a special thing for you. So abdicate is ab plus dica. So ab is away, dica is speak. So you leave something of value on your own. Abjure comes from ab, which means away, jur, jure, which means swear or like law. So abjure is to swear something away or force or leave something out of force. Like when the enemy attacked from all sides, the king abjured. That means he left his kingdom by force. Abrogate comes from ab, which means away, and rog, which means rule. So abrogate is to do away with a rule. For example, Article 370 was abrogated. Abnegate comes from ab plus neg. Neg is also the root for negative. Abnegate also is similar to abdicate. Abnegate is to renounce something generally of value or something that's desired. So you have to abnegate these valuable things. Abstemious comes from the root ab plus tem. Ab is away, tem is alcohol. So abstemious, somebody keeping away from luxurious food or drink, is abstemious. Okay, so quickly you need to research on these words because these words are similar but they have very subtle connotations. With that, I will bid goodbye today. Thank you very much.